Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. We are doing a very chill, relaxing type of video today, and we're gonna go back to our childhood nostalgia of some books that we read growing up. I came up with this idea because I've been really wanting to do like a tier ranking video again, but couldn't figure out what I wanted to tier rank. And then I thought of tier ranking some of the books that I feel like shaped our childhoods. Some of these books I haven't read, some of the books I have read, but I will go through the little tiers that I have before I get into the video. So I do have a little tier list that I've set up on my computer using the Tier Maker website. I feel like this is the website everyone uses, and I have about 33 books or book series to go through, I guess. So I'll start the screen recording now so you guys can actually see what my tiers are. The first one we have is Peak Nostalgia. I feel like these are the books that hold a very special place in my heart. I have very, very good memories of reading these, which I feel like I may end up taking a trip down memory lane in this video, because I feel like looking at a lot of these, it just triggers a lot of like memories in my brain of these books. The next one is I have very fond memories of this, but it's like not one of my favorites of all time, so this is still a very, very good tier obviously. I enjoyed it but didn't love it, so these ones I read, I had fun reading them, but they were never like the favorites that I went to all the time. Number 4 is didn't really care for these ones, so I might have like tried these ones out a few times and didn't really like them. And then the last category is books that I've actually never read. So these are the ones that even though a lot of other people were reading them, I never read them for some reason. There is a few in here that are definitely very criminal that I never read growing up, but let's just get into it. I feel like it's going to be in a very specific order because of the way that I've downloaded the covers. So the first book on here is Percy Jackson, which is a series that I have never read. I feel like this is literally a crime. I still haven't read it to this day. I actually do have the series on my TBR and do want to read them, but I feel like it's just a little bit terrifying going into series like that as an adult, because I feel like it's just not the same as when you're younger. And I actually have no idea what Percy Jackson's even about. Like, I've never seen the movies or anything either. Like, I've got no clue what I'm going into, but I need you guys to convince me to read it because I feel like I need to at some point. Next one we have that I've never read is Harry Potter. I know, this is also the biggest crime ever, but I did read the entire series last year for the first time in my life, and it was still a very nostalgic feeling. So I'm putting it in the never read category because that was like when I was younger. I never read it when I was younger, but I have read it now and have really enjoyed it. I feel like Harry Potter was one of those ones though where I did sort of know what I was going into because I'd seen like bits and pieces of the movies over the years. I'd never watched the movies completely either, but I had seen bits and pieces, so I knew what it was about. But with Percy Jackson here, I still don't know what it's about, so that's why I'm kind of still terrified to read that one. Honestly, I'm just going to pick things randomly from the list so it's not literally in the exact order that I saved them in. So next series is My Sister the Vampire, which is this one here. I have very, very fond memories of this. I remember me and my best friend growing up, Kayla, we literally bought this whole entire series, and I think we more bought it because we thought that we were the two girls on the front cover. Like, we thought that we were them, and I don't actually remember reading that many of them, but I know that I owned every single one of them just because I thought they were cool. Like, I thought the girls in these books were very cool. So I'm not going to say it's peak nostalgia, but I do have very fond memories of it because of like the whole situation surrounding it. I feel like it's also a series that not many people know about or remember, because I know when I was looking up like a bunch of these series and trying to find all the series that everyone had read, this one never came up, and I had to think about what the title was called for a while to include it in this. So I don't know, if you guys read this series growing up, please let me know, because I just have very, very good memories of reading this. The next one here is the Billy B. Brown series. This is like peak nostalgia for me. I remember this series and another series, I would put them on my wish list for Christmas, my birthday, like literally any occasion. I would be like, okay, I really want these books. I think I read every single Billy B. Brown book growing up. I'm sure there's like new ones that have come out since I've grown up as well, but I just remember loving these. They were also very quick. I remember like the writing was really big. They weren't very long. They were very like short novels, and I just, oh my god, it just warms my heart seeing it because I just remember how excited I was back then whenever I'd get one of these books. And going on from that, exact same situation, we have Ivy and Bean. I feel like this one a lot of people don't really know about either, but this was another one where I literally put it on the wish list every single time. I always wanted these, and I remember one specific occasion, I was probably maybe grade 3 or 4. It was my birthday, we went out for dinner, and I think my uncle and auntie got me a few books from the series, and I just just remember being so incredibly excited, and I don't think any other book would have gotten me excited back then. I went through such a massive like portion of my life growing up, like in high school, where I didn't read anything, didn't like reading, and obviously now if I was to get books as gifts I would absolutely love it, but I feel like, yeah, this was like the perfect time in my life where I still enjoyed getting things like that before I ended up too cool to read in high school, and now I've literally made it my whole entire life. Next one I have here is the Go Girl books. I feel like I enjoyed these but didn't love them. I think I read a couple of these, and I think I got my cousin's like secondhand books from this series, and I never like had like an attachment to them growing up. I never really cared for them, but still had fun reading them at the same time. Going on from that, we have Coraline. So I didn't really care for this one just because I did read this in high school when I was forced to. I feel like if I was to reread Coraline now, I would really enjoy it, but even then I did not know the story. I'd never watched it. I feel like a lot of people already did know the story, and I know when we watched the movie as well in my English class, I did enjoy the movie somewhat. I feel like there's a lot of like, I don't even know what you'd call it, like there's a lot of like theories I think surrounding Coraline and the movie and everything. So I definitely maybe want to reread Coraline now that I'm a bit older and actually enjoy reading. I feel like it could be an enjoyable read still. And then we have the Mallory Towers series by Enid Blyton. I never read these growing up. I actually didn't even know they existed. There was a couple of years ago on TikTok where I posted videos talking about like nostalgic books, and I think it was like 2022, and they went really viral, and a lot of people were saying like, why didn't you include Mallory Towers? Like that was my childhood. And I was like, I didn't even know what that was. Like I loved Enid Blyton's other books, which I'll get into, but didn't know what Mallory Towers was. So unfortunately I never read those. Same with Geronimo Stilton here. That was, again, a lot of people were saying that in my comments on those videos. Also never read Geronimo Stilton growing up. I also didn't even know what that was when everyone was commenting it. Like I feel like I've definitely seen the character before. Then we have a few Roald Dahl books here before. I put a few ones in here because I feel like I have different memories for each of them that I like strongly remember actually reading. I feel like I definitely could have read more of them, but these are the ones that stuck out to me. So first of all, we have James and the Giant Peach. This is like peak nostalgia for me, honestly. And the reason for that is that I had this really incredible teacher in year 2 who has honestly stuck with me my whole entire life. Like when I was studying teaching, I always had a goal to be like her and end up like her, because grade 2 was honestly the best year of my primary school because of how amazing she was. And I don't specifically remember, but I know that this was a book that she read to the class over obviously a long period of time. And then I think we did something based on the book, like we like bring snacks to school that were made into creatures or something and had like a whole picnic day out of it. I can't even remember the details, but there was just so many things that I did with that teacher that year that I honestly just can't remember. Like I think at one point she literally made like a wombat tunnel into our classroom, so we had to like crawl through this like that was made out of like cardboard to get into the room, and it was just the coolest thing ever. So very nostalgic for me, honestly, thinking about that. She was just incredible. I am like going on a whole ramble in this video, so I need a drink break because my voice is starting to like go, I think. Next we have the BFG by Roald Dahl. I would say that I enjoyed it but didn't love it. I remember kind of being weirded out by the BFG. I think the same teacher read that to us actually, and I just know that I did not like this story as much as the other stories that I'd read from Roald Dahl, so we'll put it there. Matilda, I have very fond memories of this. I feel like it's more because of the movie though. Like that movie growing up to me, oh my god, like I think if I was to like watch that movie again now, it would just be like one of the best moments of my life. Like, you know, when you watch those childhood movies and you just feel like crying because it just means so much to you and it's so nostalgic. I don't know if that's just me, but that's how I feel with Matilda. And so I don't know if I'm like saying that's nostalgic because of the book or the memories that I have around the movie. I'll just put it in the memory category because I know that it's not like peak nostalgia, but it's definitely close to it. And then we have Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I'm gonna also say I have very fond memories of this, more because of the movie. Again, I don't really remember reading the book that much, but I do know that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was also one of my favourite movies growing up, and so it definitely deserves to be in that category. Next up, we have The Borrowed Puppy by Holly Webb. This was like a whole entire series, and it was like different kittens and puppies on the cover of each one. Now, these are peak nostalgia because me and my best friend, we used to go to the library every single week and switch these out and borrow these every single week without fail, but I don't think I ever read them. I think that it was more just because of the covers. The covers were really cute. I definitely tried to read them a couple of times, but I actually don't think I ever did. It's more just the nostalgia of these covers. Like, I can still imagine my old primary school library so perfectly, because the primary school I went to had like an older library and then they knocked down the whole school and made a new one, but I can remember this old one so perfectly when I was in prep, and I can remember the exact corner these books were in because we just went there every single week. So yes, it is very nostalgic, but I don't think I actually read them. The Naughtiest Girl in the School, I'm gonna say I have very fond memories of this. I cannot remember like the details of these books and what they kind of entailed. I know there was definitely a few of them. I feel like most of Enid Blyton's books that I did read growing up, I do have very good memories of. Like the next one down here, the Magic Faraway Tree collection, that was my shit growing up. That's going in peak nostalgia. I remember like so many details of this book. I just remember how magical it was, and I'd never read anything like that before. No wonder I've gone into loving fantasy books so much. I feel like they low-key remind me of reading this growing up. I just feel like so many people would have fond memories of this series. I've definitely seen a lot of TikToks where people do talk about this, and I do have a feeling that I reread these multiple times as well, which was definitely not like me. Can I just say, guys, I got this new chair from Kmart the other day, and it is literally the comfiest thing ever. It was like sold out everywhere, and then I happened to go to a specific store that had it just sitting there, and so I bought it straight away, and it has been so worth it because it literally just feels like I'm sitting on a giant cushion, and I've been sitting here for so many hours since getting it, hence why I really wanted to sit here and film this video today. Next one we have here, I'm gonna do Diary of a Wimpy Kid. This was also peak nostalgia for me. I feel like reading the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books, watching the movies, like that was something I always loved growing up. I still wish they made more movies, honestly, because those movies, like even if I was to rewatch them now, I feel like I would still very much enjoy them. I'm excited to watch them with my future kids one day, to be honest. I remember genuinely being excited every single time a new Diary of a Wimpy Kid book came out when I was younger. I just remember every single time we'd go to like Kmart or something near the books, I would be looking to see if there was a new Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Obviously I didn't have social media to know if there was going to be a new one out, so it was kind of just if I'd seen it at school and wanted to buy it myself, or if I just happened to see it when it come out. Girl Online by Zoe Sugg, also peak nostalgia. I loved this book so much, and I think I did read the second as well, but I just remember this was like the first ever romancy sort of book that I read growing up, and I definitely read it later in primary school, so I feel like it stuck with me a lot more. I know a lot of us read this book. I don't know if I ever really watched Zoe Sugg's videos very often, but I know that everyone was talking about this, so I had to read it as well. And honestly, that's another one where I feel like in my brain, if I was to reread it now, I'd probably enjoy it, but at the same time, like, it's probably absolutely terrible. Like, I hate to say it, but it's probably so cringy, and I just enjoyed it back then because of it. But I would love to reread some of these books, honestly. If you want like a weekly vlog or something of me rereading some of these books, please let me know, because I would absolutely love to do that. Definitely not like the shorter ones, but the longer ones like Roald Dahl and Girl Online and stuff like that, I would love to reread for a video. Honestly, it gives me like an excuse to do it. Then down here we have Judy Moody. I'm gonna say I enjoyed it but didn't love it. I also feel like Judy Moody was one of those ones where I did watch the movie, I think, that they made for it, and I really liked the movie, but I think I only read maybe one or two of the books, and I know there was a lot more of them. But yeah, I feel like most of my memories about that were more because of the movie, not the actual books. Then we have Dork Diaries. I'm gonna say I did not care for these at all. I was definitely a Diary of a Wimpy Kid girl rather than a Dork Diaries girl. I feel like, at least in my primary school, all of the boys would go for Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and then all of the girls would go for Dork Diaries, but I just never read Dork Diaries. I never liked Dork Diaries. I don't know what it was, but I think Diary of a Wimpy Kid was just a lot funnier, and for some reason I enjoyed it more, so I was part of the boy group borrowing those every single week. Then we have The Maze Runner. I'm gonna say I've got very fond memories of this. I don't know when exactly I read these. I feel like it might have been either the end of primary school or the start of high school, but I know that I read all of the Maze Runner books and I watched them, and I still think the Maze Runner franchise is so underrated, honestly. Like, it is such a good series. I remember rewatching them again a couple of years ago with Harry because he'd never seen them. I still stick by the fact that it is just such a good series. I'm one of those people that didn't really like Divergent growing up. I never read the Divergent books. I have never really enjoyed the movies, and I just don't understand why they've got so much more hype than the Maze Runner does, to be honest. Like, it's so underrated. Then we have The Hunger Games. Obviously this is going in peak nostalgia. I definitely read a couple of these growing up, and then obviously I've read them again in my adult life as well, but I feel like that's just one of those series that is very, very nostalgic. It's a very amazing series. It's going to be a series that is amazing for a very long time. Then we have Kathy Cassidy. I don't know if you guys remember Kathy Cassidy, but all of her books were peak nostalgia for me as well. I put this one here, the blue one, Marshmallow Sky, because I feel like this is the one that I have the best memories of. Like, I did look up all of her books, and this is the one that I remember the most. Her books just really stuck with me. I really remember how much I loved these and wanted these as well. I also feel like this was at a point in my life where I read them and I started to not enjoy reading as much, so I don't think I read many of them, but I know the ones I did read I really, really enjoyed, and I still really, really want to reread these as well. I could definitely reread some of those in that video that I want to do. Then we have Alice Miranda. I'm gonna say I didn't really care for these. I think I did have a couple of them because I did have like a little bit of a bookshelf growing up, but I don't think I ever actually read that many. I might have read like one of them and I had like a whole bunch of them, so obviously I just didn't really care for reading more of them. Then we have Geek Girl. I think I actually never read any of these books. Again, I might have owned like one or two of them, but I don't think I ever actually read the whole thing. I think I more had them because they just looked cool to me back then. I'm looking at the cover now and I'm like, literally, what is that? Like, why is a literal child biting her lip on the front cover of a book? I don't know, but honestly I've got no idea what that's about. I don't think I ever read any of them, so we're just gonna put it down there. Then we have the Goosebumps books. I'm gonna say I've got very fond memories of these. I definitely read quite a lot of the Goosebumps books growing up as well. These Andy Griffiths books, like Just Stupid and all of that, I can't think of any of the other ones at the top of my head, but this like series I feel like I also have very fond memories of. I definitely did read all of these growing up. Then we have The Famous Five. I don't think I actually ever read these. I might have like tried to read one of them once but just didn't care for it, so I'm gonna put it in the never read just because I don't know. Like, I genuinely cannot remember if I did read these or not. The Magic School Bus series, I think these were more like picture books rather than novels, but I think there might have been novels as well. I'm gonna say I didn't really care for these. I never read these myself. It was always like the teacher reading one of them to the class, and I just remember never liking them for some reason. I never liked the kids. They were annoying. I never liked the teacher. I don't know what it was, but I just never liked those growing up, unfortunately. This one is really random, but it is called A Snicker of Magic. I remember getting it from the book fair in primary school when I was younger. Literally all of these are like from primary school. I remember getting it and I remember loving this book, so I'm gonna say I have very fond memories of this one. I actually think I have the book somewhere because my mum had it at her house and found it maybe like a year ago and gave it back to me. So that is one that I could definitely find and read at some point, unless I did donate it, but I think I do have it somewhere, like maybe up in the cupboard or something. Then we have these fairy books. Obviously I chose the Emily one for the sake of this, but there was so many of these with different names. So this one is Emily the Emerald Fairy. I'm gonna say these are also peak nostalgia. This is another one where I don't actually remember if I read many of these. I definitely read my own one growing up and had my own one, but I don't think I read a bunch of them. But again, I think it was more the idea of all of the girls in primary school like getting together and trying to find their books and trying to find their names on them. That was like really sweet. We've got two more to go. The next one is the like story treehouse series from Andy Griffiths. I'm gonna say I did not care for these. I think I only read like one of them as well, but I feel like that was one of those ones that just really didn't stick with me. I know a lot of people were reading them and they were sort of coming out towards the end of my primary school years, I believe. But yeah, I just didn't care for them for some reason. I feel like a lot of people did enjoy those ones though. And then the last one we have is Charlie and Lola. This is like peak nostalgia for me. I actually don't remember reading the books that much, but I did still want to include this because the Charlie and Lola show growing up was my favorite thing ever. Like, I loved that show more than anything. I think that was genuinely the best thing ever growing up, and because I've got two younger sisters, I feel like I related to it as well for that reason. I can still like imagine the theme song of the opening of the TV show in my head perfectly as well. Like, I just have the best memories of that, honestly. But that was the last book. So here is all of the books that I've put into their little categories. I didn't do like a whole bunch of books, but I feel like 30 was like a good amount because this is like, I feel like the most popular books. I'm definitely probably missing something that I didn't read that was very popular, but this is like the list that I found and got for myself. So I'm very happy with this, honestly. I feel like everything is in the correct category. I literally feel like I'm like croaky and losing my voice because of how much I've just spoken, honestly. Anyway, that wraps up the end of this video. I really hope you all enjoyed this because I had so much fun making it, and when I came up with the idea I was like, I have to do that because I just really wanted to take a trip down memory lane, to be honest, and I feel like this will be very nostalgic for a lot of you as well. If you got to this point of the video, comment what upcoming book release you were the most excited for, whether that's this year or next year, just any book release you were very excited for. But as usual, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content from me, and I hope to see you all in my next one.